afternoon, beautiful people. You're welcome to today's Royal Afternoon Edition, the 2 p.m. news on 88.4 Royal FM. My name is Mapalazita. The headlines. A female student has reportedly died after fighting with one of her mates over a boyfriend issue in Mfomo, Central region of Cameroon.
The law is going to examine and see exactly if there was a premeditated intention to kill. You know, the law punishes the intention and not the action.
Out of Cameroon, French President Emmanuel Macron has arrived to Mauritius today on a 5-day African tour, which will also take him to South Africa, Gabon and Angola. And in sports, Cameroon's Emmanuel Esimi has grabbed the country's second gold medal at the ongoing Islamic Solidarity Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ladies and gentlemen, those were the headlines. Good afternoon. You're welcome to the 2 p.m. news on Royal FM and live on YouTube at Royal FM Cameroon. We begin with politics. More than 25,000 voters are expected at the polls come November the 30th, 2025, along with a register of more than 9,000 municipal councillors who will make up the electoral college to elect the regional councillors nominated by different political parties operating in the country. Evans Williams Njobati got to some municipal councillors who share their diverse expectations in this report.
With less than 10 days before the regional elections in Cameroon, electors mandated by the electoral body, Elecam, to vote during this process have kept pouring out their expectation. Alain Paul Kamchi is one of them.
Il faut savoir que les candidats ont besoin de se rapprocher de nous.
It is important to understand that the candidates need to meet us to directly explain what they intend to do for us at the regional council level. There is no longer any need for long speeches and promises. The people have made it clear that from now on, the opposite approach will secure our positions.
Désormais, c'est le concret qui va assurer nos positions.
While stating some of the challenges faced by these regional councillors during their term of office, Martin Tanjong and Lawrence Ngwa-Kokho, candidates, believe a number of actions need to be considered.
If a council has a bulldozer, a grader, a front loader, a truck, that council will be able to do its own roads, do its bridges, rent those equipment to private people, and that will be the basic springboard for the council to grow.
We are not generating any income within our municipalities. We spend money to mature projects. When the community's request for water and electricity becomes so difficult for us to go and start telling the community that, oh, sorry, we wrote to the Ministry of Water and Energy, they did not fund the project. Particularly mayors of the Northwest and Southwest, we face a lot of insecurity challenges to move to the suburbs and to carry on development there.
On his part, Junior Puhe is of the opinion that once elected, these municipal authorities should perform their duty in utmost good faith.
It is important to understand that the candidates need to meet us to directly explain what they intend to do for us at the regional council level. There is no longer any need for long speeches and promises. The people have made it clear that from now on, the opposite approach will secure our positions.
It should be noted that the highlighted over 900 municipal councillors in list will come from 11 political parties nationwide.
Head of State President Paul Biya has signed a decree to organize an official funeral in honor of former Prime Minister and President of the Economic and Social Council, Ayan Luc, who passed away in Belgium last October the 14th, 2025. In the decision made public yesterday, the said funeral shall take place on Saturday, November the 22nd, 2025 in Dukula, that's in the Mayo Danai division of the Far North region. Cameroon joins the rest of the world today to celebrate World Philosophy Day. Proclaimed by UNESCO in 2002, World Philosophy Day is celebrated every third Thursday of November. The day aims to celebrate the importance of philosophy to humanity, both as a method of critical thought and a gold mine of cultural ideas. This year's celebration is embedded under the theme philosophy and artificial intelligence. Ngang Nadesh interviewed a philosophy teacher on whether the coming of artificial intelligence has enhanced or destroyed philosophical thinking. Take a listen to Dr. Nanje Walters in this excerpt.
Artificial intelligence has greatly transformed and enhanced philosophical thinking, while on the other hand, its challenges to philosophical thinking are enormous. The coming of artificial intelligence has enhanced philosophical thinking because it has helped create new perspective on consciousness. Artificial intelligence development has sparked debates on the nature of consciousness, inspiring new philosophical perspective on the mind and body problem and the possibility of artificial consciousness. Artificial intelligence has enabled philosophers to test and refine theories in fields such as ethics, politics, and metaphysics through simulations and modeling. Artificial intelligence has fostered collaborations between philosophers, computer scientists, and neuroscientists, leading to a new insight and approaches. But nevertheless, the coming of artificial intelligence has also destroyed philosophical thinking because there is the excessive dependency on artificial intelligence tools, which might lead to diminished critical thinking skills and decreased philosophical creativity. Artificial intelligence-driven content generation and dissemination might lead to a homogenization of philosophical thought, suppressing diverse perspectives and original ideas.
The philosophy scholar further explains how artificial intelligence can be used to better the world of philosophy. Take a listen.
Artificial intelligence can help analyze and interpret large philosophical texts, revealing new insights and patterns. Artificial intelligence power tools can make philosophy more accessible and engaging for a broader audience, promoting philosophical literacy and critical thinking. Philosophy is a luxury that plays a pivotal role in shaping our national discourse, fostering critical thinking, and inspiring innovative solutions to development challenges that will enable us to think in an objective way. This is because when one is building a kingdom and fails to build the man to control it, one is building in vain. Philosophy therefore provides a crucial framework for understanding the implications of artificial intelligence and technological progress. For Cameroon to emerge by 2035, philosophers must be given the opportunity and part to play in this emergence, which must be dissemination of new conception of emergence founded on the respect of human life.
Joining me in the studio is our Director of Informations and editorialist here at Royal FM. Good afternoon, Abel Bela Samari.
Thank you very much, Mapalazita. Good afternoon to you.
Abel, in the following write-up, you look at the place of philosophy in our African society.
You are very correct, because studying philosophy cultivates critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and a deeper understanding of fundamental questions about life, knowledge, and society. Philosophy in itself teaches us to analyze argument, recognize assumption, and evaluate reasoning. By engaging with complex texts and philosophical debate, you develop that ability to think logically, question assumptions, and approach problems systematically, skills that are valuable across careers and everyday life. Critical thinking gained through philosophy helps decision-making, problem-solving, and understanding diverse perspectives. Philosophy encourages reflection on questions like what is right and wrong, how should we live. Studying ethics, one of the philosophy's central branches, will give you that opportunity to fight against ills in our society, like what we have, corruption. In short, philosophy is not just about abstract theoreticalizing. It's equipping individuals with critical analytical skills, ethical insight, and intellectual flexibility, and a profound understanding of the human condition. These bring the place of philosophy in the African continent. The importance of philosophy holds profound significance for African, both historical and in contemporary context, as it provides structures reflection on reality, knowledge, morality, and society from an African perspective. Its importance can be discredited across multiple dimensions. African philosophy allows Africans to articulate and reclaim their cultural identity and the world in large. For example, when we talk in the African continent that putting man at the center of priority will solve our problem, it simply implies that I am because my brother do exist, and my brother do exist because I am available. This embodies the philosophical perspective, emphasizing the interconnectedness, community cohesion, and mutual responsibility. By engaging with these indigenous philosophies, Africa has a better place. For African philosophy, it is both a tool of self-realization and societal transformation. When we give the place of Africa and African philosophers the right position they deserve in our society, then we can talk of Africa emerging, because African philosophers have their place in the continent.
Staffman Abel Bela Samari. And still to come in this newscast, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Cameroon has taken upon itself to renationalize the electricity sector, and Cameroonians have expectations.
Government's efforts to regain Enyo is a laudable one.
Want more of stable electricity, fewer unexplained power cuts.
We are just about to backpedal and go back to our days of no electricity.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to the 2 p.m. news on Royal FM and watching us live on YouTube at Royal FM Cameroon. The Cameroon government has recently signed an agreement to buy back the stake held by British private equity fund Actis in Eneo, the country's main electricity distributor. Earlier this year, the state also increased its ownership of the cotton company Sodecoton to 89% by buying 30% previously held by Francis Giocoton. With the recent shift from privatization, Cameroonians have been sharing their expectations from state management. They spoke to our reporter Glory Ngange, who has details in this report.
The recent decision by the government to take control of some companies previously headed by foreign private enterprises has been hailed by some citizens who hope for improvements. Bob Bryan is one of them.
Government's efforts to regain Enyo is a laudable one. We do hope that this giant move by the government of Cameroon will help to solve the numerous problems faced by the company. For the past years, lots of neighborhoods, regions have been suffering with lack of electricity, bad generators that have been replaced, fallen poles that are given less or no attention, constant power failure.
Joshua, on his part, is negative as he foresees more challenges in the energy sector.
I think that we are just about to backpedal and go back to our days of no electricity, because from previous experiences, state parastatals don't do so well when it comes to efficiency. For example, the speed at which it would take you to do something at an office like MTN or Orange is not the same speed you take to do something at Camtel. So that tells you that there's a problem when it comes to efficiency with state parastatals.
He further justifies his fears by outlining the realities of some government-controlled organizations in the country.
Enyo has been doing a good job, because I remember before the privatization in 2014, we used to have a lot of electricity cuts, but after the privatization, there has been a lot of improvement, and I don't really know why they want to nationalize Enyo again. It is not a very good move, and the ordinary Cameroonian at the end of the day will still have to face the effect.
However, Linda has expressed renewed hopes in the government as she expects better and immediate handling of power supply issues.
With the government taking back control of Eneo, I expect two things, that is better management and better service. Want more of stable electricity, fewer unexplained power cuts, and quicker response when faults occur. I also expect more transparency in billing and investment that actually improve the network. I'll judge the government on results of efficiency, accountability, and whether daily life truly becomes easier.
As the government takes charge of the energy of Cameroon and other companies, all eyes are on the outcome.
Following the renationalization of electricity management in Cameroon, Frinwe Crispin, head of Reporters Brigades here at Royal FM, caught up with a senior economist on the stakes and challenges when it comes to the distribution of electricity in Cameroon. She compiled this report.
Dr. Chimenta Kennedy begins by pondering on several aspects that the renationalization may be or may unveil.
The biggest challenge is not just collecting back the keys of the car. The issue is that is the driver capable of being ethical, bring in all the managerial competence to be able to do it. One of the things we have seen in Enyo is that Enyo was privatized because of the failure of state-run majority to be able to run business opportunities. But unfortunately, we have seen that the private sector was not capable of doing that.
According to the senior economist, Cameroon's electricity company loses nearly 40% of the electricity it produces to theft and crumbling lines, a major challenge to the Cameroon government.
Is the government going to be able to solve this? Is the government going to bring in the best Cameroonians in the diasporas at the managerial seat, not rewarding political affiliate, to be able to transform this strategic industry? Is the government going to develop an industry that provide the energy so that we can transform our produce and reduce our importations in what they call the import substitution strategy? Are we going to develop and provide energy to our rural areas to create rural entrepreneurs where majority of our population resides and where agricultural transformation is needed?
Aside from the state, the experts reveals that the citizens equally have a role to play for this electricity company to be productive.
The Cameroonian has to make sure that all of them struggle to make sure that this industry, which is a strategic industry, provision of energy, that this industry is being given the support that they need, so that they can provide the energy that will be needed to build 21st century schools, provide energy to our special economic zones, as well as make sure that Cameroonians who have startups are capable of being competitive within the AI economic boom that is outside.
The money invested in the Cameroon energy sector stands at 78 billion CFA francs.
And as Cameroon continues to renationalize state-owned companies, questions on what or how they are going to improve on the performances of these companies have been raised. Jeffrey Tachum spoke with some economic experts and compiled the following report.
With the recent renationalization of companies, Cameroon aims to boost national sovereignty and economic growth. Nevertheless, concerns are rising about mismanagement and poor performance that have plagued state-owned enterprises. Chumulo Eugene, economics teacher.
In the yesteryears, these enterprises were poorly managed by the government, and the reason why they sold the enterprises to private individuals either partially or completely. And so I want to say that mismanagement has been one of the issues faced by these enterprises when they are owned by the government, and this will not stop. The problem of mismanagement will continue. A reason being that we have the same people that will be at the helm of these enterprises.
Meanwhile, Polycarp Chengwi points towards the excessive public debt and the poor business climate as major setbacks in Cameroon's financial governance.
The country is facing high debts right now. The Cameroonian economy has been mostly funded by other countries through debt, so the country needs to reduce its debt level. If not, it will not be able to still manage these companies by themselves. A lot of inadequate infrastructures as well. According to doing business in Cameroon, Cameroon still has a poor business climate because the level of capital investment growth in the country is very low.
And in a context of aggravated economic hardship, this renationalization will only be fruitful if households can benefit from it through mass employment and access to basic public facilities. Chumulo Eugene and Polycarp Chenwi once again.
For the government to be effectively handle this and avoid mismanagement and other challenges, there needs to be thorough control. There needs to be day-to-day follow-up and day-to-day maintenance of these activities and these companies for us to be realistic.
So if we renationalize it, then we are still going to use these revenues. Households are going to use these revenues in purchasing. They're going to increase our purchasing power, and that's going to deal with the issues of unemployment and also deal with the issues of inflations in the country. It is a good initiative, but all these hurdles have to be treated. If not, it's going to dampen the situation rather than ameliorate it.
As Cameroon navigates the complexities of renationalization, the fate of these strategic enterprises is hanging in the balance. The success or failure of these ventures will have far-reaching implications for its economy and on citizens' well-being.
And on to this human interest story, a viral video circulating on social media shows a heated argument between two secondary school girls over a boyfriend, which ended in tragedy when one of them allegedly suffocated the other, resulting in her death. An incident that has left the school and community in mourning. In this light, our reporter Gang Nadesh caught up with a legal expert to dissect the case and examine the potential consequences outlined by the law.
The tragic incident has sent shockwaves across the internet, leaving many wondering how such violence could erupt among young people. Nelson Lambris is a legal expert.
The law is very clear with situations like these. Two persons were fighting, two Cameroonians were fighting, two citizens were fighting, and one person had to lost the life. It means that automatically there is a murder that is involved. The law is going to examine and see exactly if there was a premeditated intention to kill. You know, the law punishes the intention and not the action.
The severity of the penalty for this crime would depend on the intent behind the act, with the law distinguishing between premeditated murder and manslaughter, according to Article 276 of the Cameroonian Penal Code.
It doesn't mean that because somebody died, automatically the other person is going to be incriminated or maybe sentenced for committing murder. No, the law is going to investigate and actually do a thorough examination to see exactly if there was a premeditated intention to kill the party that is there. If there was not, then the punishment is not going to be as severe as if there was a premeditated intention. But in a nutshell, it is already a felony since there is death that is involved.
In addition, the law will also scrutinize bystanders who failed to intervene or actively participated in the incident, including those who filmed the altercation without attempting to stop it. Nelson Lambris once again.
These people too, if identified, are going to be accused of known as what they call in French, known as assistant en personne en danger. It means they did not assist somebody who was actually in danger and they allow the person to fight until the point of getting his life taken away. And this person, if proven guilty, they too are going to have a serious problem with the judicial system of our country or justice.
The legal expert concludes by emphasizing that
so if people are fighting actually and there is somebody who is watching and not actually coming to rescue them in that point until the point that they fight and they die, the people that were filming too actually will be accused in the eyes of the law. And if they are proven guilty that they were actually there and they enjoyed the fighting and allowed the other person to die, they too will be incriminated.
Statistics show that school violence is a pressing issue in Cameroon. 20% of students experience physical violence, 20% face psychological bullying, and 24% experience sexual violence. It is therefore imperative to address the root causes of violence and work towards a future where students can thrive without fear or harm.
Out of Cameroon, French President Emmanuel Macron has arrived to Mauritius today, where he was welcomed by Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam. The island nation is the first stop on a 5-day tour of Africa, which is part of France's renewed push to redefine its partnership at its influence continues to wane across parts of the continent. After Mauritius, Macron will be expected in South Africa, Gabon, and Angola. The Johannesburg High Court in South Africa has ruled as unlawful the activities of an anti-migrant group called Operation Dudula, as the group is stopping foreigners from accessing public health clinics in South Africa. Its members block clinic entrances, demand local identity documents, and turn away people without them. South Africa's government has reiterated that healthcare is available for all under the law and has ordered the group to stop harassing migrants. 12 historic artifacts have been formally returned to Ethiopia after being kept by a German family for over 100 years. The artifacts, originally collected in the 1920s by Germany's then envoy to Ethiopia, Franz Weiss, and his wife Hedwig, were handed over yesterday to the Institute of Ethiopian Studies in Addis Ababa University. According to Germany's envoy to Ethiopia, Ferdinand von Weihe, the artifacts still stand as a symbol of the long-standing and friendly relationship between Germany and Ethiopia. We come back with sports just after this break. Cameroon's Cameroon's medal tally at the Islamic Solidarity Game has now reached 9 with 2 gold, 2 silver and 5 bronze medals. The surge was fueled yesterday by Emmanuel Esemi, who secured the nation's second gold medal after winning the men's 200-meter run. With this performance, Cameroon has risen from 21st to 18th place on the classification table, trailing behind front runners like Turkey. The indomitable Lions of Cameroon have suffered a setback in the latest FIFA World Ranking published yesterday. The team has slipped to 3 places globally, a movement that coincides with their recent elimination from contention of the 2026 World Cup. On the continental front, the team dropped 1 position, falling from the 9th to the 10th place in Africa. Let's welcome sportsman Biwa Brian. Good afternoon, Brian.
Good afternoon, Mapalazita.
We opened the special file at the continental level to look at the CAF award. Brian, several footballers have been recognized by CAF for their outstanding performance in 2025.
Happy to see Hakimi taking the African Player of the Year after recording an amazing season out there with PSG and also helping Morocco qualify for the World Cup with games to spare for its defender to attain such and win it. Also being in the Ballon d'Or ranking, the top 10, I think it's a big plus.
The prize for the men's interclub player of the year went to Congolese striker Fiston Mayele, who was the leading scorer at the 2024 CAF Champions League, helping Egyptian club Pyramid FC to secure their maiden continental crown.
His club, Pyramid, they practically swept everything away, and Mayele isn't a striker to play with. From Pyramid FC down to even his performance in the DRC, it's very commendable.
Moroccan international Yassine Bono was crowned the men's goalkeeper of the year, making him the second winner to win it in the second time in a row, while the men's coach of the year award went to Babista of Cape Verde, whose exceptional leadership was recognized for building a small island nation to historic achievements, the first ever qualification for the FIFA World Cup. Ngome Michael, sports analyst.
This is someone who missed the African Cup of Nations but somehow turned back, proved a very remarkable result by taking the Cape Verdean nation to the FIFA World Cup in North America. You have to also understand that the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde had very impressive African Cup of Nations. That is why Bobista was able to beat the likes of Walid Redragi.
Rising Moroccan talent Othman Mama was named the CAF Men's Young Player of the Year, capping a phenomenal year with a Watford forward who played a decisive role in Morocco's historic FIFA Under-20 World Cup triumph in Chile. The 20-year-old, who was also named the Golden Ball winner for the tournament's best player, was celebrated for his skill, vision and determination on the field. The final individual award of the men's category in yesterday's ceremony went to Somalia's Omar Abdelkabi, who was crowned the referee player of the year.
In addition to the accolades presented in the men's category, several distinguished female footballers were also honored yesterday, and you have a summary, Brian.
The highlight in the women's category was Morocco's Ghislaine Chebak, who was crowned the Women's Player of the Year, a historic first for a Moroccan woman. The prolific striker who also secured the Golden Boot at the 2024 WAFCON triumphed over fellow finalists Rasidat Ajibade and Sana Musudi to win these awards, taking over from last year's winner Barbara Banda.
I still really don't understand how CAF had to settle for Ghislaine Chebak. When we put Chebak's figures side by side, other players, which I'm going to do that, you look at Rashidat Ajibade, she made a total of 8 goals and 3 assists and equally won the MVP for the Women's African Cup of Nations. We look at the numbers amassed too by Barbara Banda. She had a total of 3 goals and a single assist at the Women's African Cup of Nations. Now look at it at club level. Orlando Pride, he had 17 goals and 7 assists. So when you put these figures in place, we really don't get to have a vivid comprehension why the Confederation settled for Chebak.
Nigeria's dependable shortstopper Chiamaka Nadozie secured her position as Africa's elite goalkeeper, by winning the Women's Goalkeeper of the Year award for the third consecutive time, a testament to her consistency performance for her club Brighton and for country Nigeria. Emerging talent was also recognized as Morocco's Doha El Madani retained her title as a Women's Young Player of the Year, acknowledging her impressive performance and achievements for ISFA and national youth team. In the referee category, Uganda's Shana Maria Bada was crowned the CAF Women's Referee of the Year. The young FIFA batch referee since 2018 was lauded for her performance at various continental and global tournaments in 2024 and 2025, including key matches at the WAFCON and an appointment at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. Notably, the awards for the Women's Coach of the Year, Women's Interclub Player of the Year, and Women's Club of the Year were not presented yesterday by the Confederation of African Football.
Brian, the CAF Award ceremony extended beyond individual achievements as it also recognized the collective efforts and successes of teams across the continent.
In the collective national teams categories at the 2025 CAF Award ceremony held in Rabat yesterday, Nigeria's senior women's national team and Morocco's under-20 men's team emerged victorious, highlighting excellence across different levels of African football. The Nigerian women's national team, the Super Falcons, were crowned the Women's National Team of the Year for the second consecutive time. This award recognizes their strong performance, which includes winning the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. In the men's category, the award went to Morocco's under-20 side, who were named the Men's National Team of the Year. The Atlas Club received this prestigious honor for the historic achievement of winning the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in 2025, marking the first time an African team has captured this trophy. At club level, Egypt's Pyramid FC backed home the Men's Club of the Year award. This recognition followed their historic triumph in the CAF Champions League, where they defeated Mamelodi Sundowns to win the title for the first time. The winner of the Women's Club of the Year was not announced during the main ceremony, but CAF, however, confirmed that the award, along with the Women's Coach of the Year and the Women's Interclub Player of the Year, will be announced after the ongoing 2025 CAF Women's Champions League, which is scheduled to end in the days ahead.
And finally, to wrap up this file, Brian, you note that yesterday's ceremony in Morocco was attended by several Cameroonian legends in the game of football.
The 2025 CAF Awards in Rabat yesterday, November 19, featured a strong presence of Indomitable Lions royalty. Among the high-profile African icons at the glittering Mohammed V Polytechnic University ceremony were legendary forward Patrick Mboma, Fecafoot President Samuel Eto'o, and former goalkeeping maestro Idris Carlos Kameni, alongside former Indomitable Lions captain and coach Anong Bernadette. Idris Carlos Kameni was granted the honor of presenting the Best Goalkeeper Award, which was won by Yassine Bonu. Similarly, Anong Bernadette, a former goalkeeper for the Indomitable Lionesses, handed the Best Goalkeeper Award to Chiamaka Nadozie of Nigeria. Their presence was highlighted by the Confederation of African Football as a symbol of continuity between generations of African football talents.
Let's now welcome Doreen Bimi into the studio with a summary of this newscast in the French language. Bon après-midi, Doreen.
Good afternoon, ma Palazita. Elle se célèbre ce 20 novembre 2025, la journée mondiale de la philosophie. Thème retenu, philosophie et intelligence artificielle. Deux concepts qui mettent en lumière une nouvelle pratique philosophique au Cameroun. Économie, le projet de renationalisation des secteurs stratégiques initié par le Cameroun depuis quelques mois déjà est confirmé. Le port de Douala, l'eau, l'électricité et bien d'autres secteurs implantent leurs fondamentaux progressivement. Sur la scène internationale, Emmanuel Macron, le président français, annoncé en Afrique pour tourner la page des revers français au Sahel. Rappelons qu'il débute ce jeudi à l'île Maurice, une tournée africaine qui le conduira aussi en Afrique du Sud, au Gabon et en Angola. En sport football, double historique pour le Maroc au CAF Award 2025. Akraf Hakimi, Ghislaine Tchebak, élu meilleur joueur africain.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the package we compiled for you this afternoon. The 2 p.m. news received technical assistance from Salomon Esana. Brian Bida took care of the cameras for our social media handles. Production assistants Glory Gange. Script editing and editorial coaching Abel Bella Samari. Central coordination Roger Kiek, our station manager. And general supervision by the Reverend Pastor Bisai Emmanuel Noel. For news editing and presentation, my name is Mapala Zita. Thank you all for your kind attention and do have a wonderful afternoon. Ladies